Let me ask you something eternal. Do you believe what I said? Not just with your mouth, but with your life. I am the resurrection and the life. The one who believes in me will live even though they die. You've heard that verse. You've read it. Maybe you've even quoted it at a funeral. But do you believe it when death knocks at your door? When dreams die? When prayers go unanswered? When I don't show up on your timeline? Because I'm not a poetic metaphor. I'm not a religious idea. I'm not a bandage for human grief. I'm not just something to comfort you when you're crying. I'm the God who raises the dead. I'm not asking you to memorize me. I'm asking you to trust me. Because there will come a moment when everything you built falls apart, when the people you love are gone, when your body fails, when no earthly thing can help you. And in that moment, all that will matter is this. Did you believe me? I don't want shallow belief. I want resurrection faith. I want the kind of trust that looks at a sealed tomb and still says, he's not done yet. So I'll ask you again, do you really believe? Before the miracle, I made the statement, I am the resurrection and the life. I didn't wait for the grave to open. I didn't wait until the crowd got quiet. I said it while death still looked like it won. Because that's how faith speaks. I don't need proof to declare power. I am the proof. You wait until things improve, then believe. I speak while everything's still broken, and bring life with my voice. Lazarus was dead, buried, wrapped, stinking. But I wasn't intimidated by any of that, because I am not limited by what limits you. Listen to me. I don't need your situation to look alive before I call it out. I speak over graveyards. I shout over silence. I promise before proof. Because when I speak, death starts backing up. So stop waiting for things to change before you believe. Believe, and watch everything change. Martha tried to stop me. Lord, by now he stinketh. Yes, she said it out loud. She was honest. The body was rotting. The grave was sealed. The hope was gone. And maybe you've said the same thing. God, it's too late now. You look at your life, your marriage, your calling, your broken heart, and you say, it stinks. It's decayed. It's over. But I didn't turn around when I heard her words. I didn't apologize for being late. I didn't flinch at the smell of death. I moved forward. Because I do my best work in places that stink, in moments that feel hopeless, in situations that human logic has already buried. Don't you get it? I don't avoid the stench. I step into it. I step into families full of secrets and call out healing. I step into hearts weighed down by failure and speak destiny. I step into graves of addiction, shame, compromise, delay, and I resurrect what everyone gave up on. So don't cover the tomb with religious politeness. Don't pretend it doesn't smell. Let me in anyway. Because I didn't come for appearances. I came for resurrection. You prayed I would show up before it got bad. You asked me to heal it before it died. Fix it before it failed. Save it before it collapsed. But I let it die. And now you're asking me why. Here's the answer. Because I'm not the God who merely prevents death. I'm the God who defeats it. If I healed Lazarus, the crowd would have said, he got better. But when I raised him, they had to say, only God could do that. Sometimes I let it fall apart, so I can rebuild it in a way that brings me glory. I didn't fail you. I positioned you for something greater. You don't need a band-aid. You need a resurrection. You don't need a recovery. You need a reversal, and that's what I do. So stop replaying what I didn't stop, and start preparing for what I'm about to raise. Because what died isn't staying dead. You thought I didn't care because I didn't come running. You cried out. You begged. You sent word like Mary and Martha did. Lord, the one you love is sick. But I stayed where I was. Not because I didn't love you, but because I do. You see delay as rejection. I see it as preparation. If I came too soon, They'd call it luck. If I answered too fast, they'd give credit to doctors, timing, or coincidence. But when I let the clock run out, when I let the heart flatline, when I let the situation turn cold and the grave get sealed, then only I get the glory. I didn't miss the moment. I set the moment. I waited, so your testimony would shake the earth. So stop interpreting silence as absence. Stop calling delay a denial. What looks like a no is sometimes a divine not yet. Watch what I'm about to do. Because when I walk into your situation late by man's clock, I still show up right on time for a resurrection. I told them to do one thing: roll the stone away. They wanted to see my power, but I wanted to see their obedience. And I'm telling you the same thing right now. If you want resurrection, you've got to remove what's in the way. The stone represents the thing you've used to seal it off. The thing you've placed between you and the miracle. The barrier of doubt, fear, pride, shame, unforgiveness. You can't ask for life while keeping your hand on the lid of the tomb. You cry for breakthrough but refuse to forgive. You plead for revival but still live in compromise. You pray for my voice but drown me out with noise. Roll the stone. I'm not asking you to raise the dead. I'm asking you to trust me enough to remove what's blocking the entrance. Because when you do the natural, I'll do the supernatural. When you move the stone, I'll call forth what you thought was lost. Obedience comes before the shout. Surrender comes before the breakthrough. So roll it away and get ready. I didn't stand outside the tomb and say, "Hey, anyone in there?" I didn't shout a general resurrection to the world. I said one name: Lazarus, come forth. Because resurrection isn't a crowd event. It's a personal call. I'm not just the resurrection. I am your resurrection. I know your name. I see where you've been buried. I see the place you gave up. I see what's wrapped you up and weighed you down. And I'm not whispering. I'm calling you out. I'm calling you out of depression, out of compromise, out of bitterness, out of hiding, out of guilt that keeps choking your joy. You think I forgot you because people passed by your tomb and never stopped. But I've never stopped watching. I never walked away. And when I speak, I don't call the crowd. I call you. I don't resurrect random people. I resurrect the ones I love, and that includes you. So when you hear me call your name in the middle of the night, answer. When your heart starts stirring and your tears start falling, come forth. Because I didn't bring you this far to leave you dead. Lazarus came out, still wrapped. He didn't walk out looking healed. He walked out bound. His hands were tied. His feet were stiff. His face was still covered. But guess what? He was alive. And I didn't rebuke him for not looking free. I said to the others, loose him and let him go. Because resurrection doesn't wait until you're polished. It begins when you obey while you're still wrapped in struggle. Stop thinking you have to be perfect to respond to me. You say, I still feel anxious. I still wrestle with sin. I'm still doubting. And I say, come out anyway. Your freedom starts with obedience. Your deliverance comes after you answer. Don't let the grave clothes fool you. You're not dead. You're just not fully unwrapped yet. Let me deal with the layers. Let me call others to help unwrap what trauma, addiction, and fear have tried to keep around you. But your job is to come out. Even if you come out limping, even if you come out shaking, come out alive. You thought it ended when it died. You buried it, walked away from it, tried to forget it, but I never declared it finished. I declared it planted, because in my kingdom, death is not the end. It's the beginning of resurrection. Lazarus wasn't the end of a story. It was the setup for glory. What you called wasted time, I called preparation. What you called failure, I called fertile ground. What you called loss, I called a seed. Unless a grain of wheat falls into the ground and dies, it remains alone. But if it dies, it produces much fruit. John 12:24. You didn't lose it, you planted it. And now it's time to stop mourning what I'm getting ready to raise. Stop thinking I abandoned you just because something died. I was building the testimony. I was deepening the roots. I was aligning the people who would witness your comeback. Because resurrection doesn't just shock the dead, it stuns the living. So hear me clearly. What died was not your end. It was your foundation. Martha said to me, I know my brother will rise again in the resurrection at the last day. She believed in someday. And many of you do the same. You believe I can move, just not today. You believe healing exists, just not for you. You believe resurrection will happen, but only in the end. But I looked her in the eye and said, I am the resurrection, not will be, not used to be. I am, right now. Present tense, breathing, active, alive. You keep waiting for some perfect future moment, but I'm already here. I don't need a calendar to do miracles. I don't need time to align. I exist outside of it. And I'm standing in front of your tomb today. Will you keep delaying your faith, pushing your hope to the future? Or will you believe in me now? Because resurrection isn't an event, it's me. And I'm not far away. I'm speaking now. I'm moving now. I'm resurrecting now. Do you believe this? Then stop waiting for someday and start walking with the I am. I didn't ask Martha for a strategy. I didn't ask her for logic. I didn't ask her to understand what I was about to do. I asked her one thing. Did I not tell you that if you believe, you will see the glory of God? Not if you behave, not if you deserve it, not if you figure it all out. If you believe. Because belief unlocks what doubt blocks. Belief pulls glory into dead places. Belief doesn't wait for the atmosphere to change. It changes the atmosphere. You want to see me move? Then stop staring at the grave and start believing my word. Because when you believe, chains fall, hearts melt, graves open, and glory shows up in ways no one can explain. I don't need your qualifications. I don't need your resume. I just need one thing. Your yes. Yes, I believe you can raise this. Yes, I believe you're still the resurrection. Yes, I believe this isn't over. Yes, I believe you are who you say you are. And when that kind of belief rises up in you, so will everything else that's been dead. One day, your body will take its final breath. The pulse will stop. The room will fall silent. And everyone will say, they're gone. But I'll say something different. If you believed in me, you're not gone. You've just come home. Because I didn't just promise life after death. I am the life beyond death. I didn't just conquer the grave. I own the keys. And I didn't just speak resurrection. I became it. The world fears death, but my children don't. Because when death comes knocking, I open the door, and I say, this one is mine. Lazarus was just a preview. The cross was the payment. The empty tomb was the proof. And your resurrection, it's guaranteed. So don't live in fear. Don't die in doubt. You were not made for the grave. You were made for glory. And if you believe in me, even though you die, you will live. Because I am the resurrection. I am the life. And I am not finished with you yet.